Recording in progress.
What up? What's good, family? I'm your boy Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Special shout out to all of our Facebook Live viewers right now. Make sure y'all click that like button on the Facebook page. Also, you can follow us on our YouTube channel, plus our social media on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, and also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. My brother, how we feeling today?
I'm good, man. You know what? I got the hunch that the winter might be almost over, man. We got a nice run of warm days coming up, and I'm looking forward to that because I don't like the winter.
Man, that's what's up, bruh. Cause I'm tired of, and it's funny. I got a little sore scratchiness in the throat. Pause. From earlier today, and this weather is just like the back and forth. It's 40 one day, and it could be like 60 something the next day. I'm just ready for some more consistency where that's concerned. So yeah, man, I feel you on that.
What's good with you?
So for folks that have been asking, and I didn't mention this on any of the previous episodes. Folks have been asking about my pops. For those that don't know, my pops was in a vehicle accident a few weeks ago, but he's doing fine. He's doing well. I was just up in the Bronx this past weekend. They moved him to a rehab center. He's doing rehab now. He's doing much better. All the surgeries he had to go through went successful. And he is lucky and he is blessed to be alive today because that's some stuff that no one wants to go through. I wouldn't wish it on nobody. So, shout out to my pops. His attitude, the important thing for him is his attitude is in the right place for what he has to deal with in the coming weeks. So I'll just leave it at that. So thanks to everybody that reached out to me, family, friends, and I know you and I talked about it the weekend it happened. It was Super Bowl Sunday when I first told you about it. So appreciate all the support and everything. Just a quick shout out to everyone in the Facebook live chat. We got Deacon Dell in the chat. We also got my brother Mo Cheese is up in here. We also got Miss Mocha Bella's up in here as well. So appreciate everybody jumping in real quick.
And shout out to Mo Cheese. We gonna drop that on Thursday. We did an episode with Mo. We gonna drop that on Thursday. Shout out Mo Cheese.
Yes, sir. That was excellent interview from him, by the way. So make sure y'all check that out when that drops Thursday. Maestro, I know you don't care about this.
You know me so well after all this time.
I know. You don't care about this. You grew up not caring about baseball. Baseball is not a DC thing. They don't build baseball fields in DC. It's a football town, for that matter. I care a little bit about it. Probably not to the extent of most diehard baseball fans, but this thing with the Players Association and the league itself. So around about 5:00 today was a deadline to come up with a collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners and the league, and they have not agreed upon anything, and therefore they're canceling the first week of the upcoming baseball season, which I think starts on March 31st. So there's options to come back to the table on both sides to try to work something out before then. But as it stands right now, it's just going to be 1 week of cancellation of games, and it could be more than that. if this thing kind of continues on. Um, your thoughts, and I know it's going to be quick.
um, hey man, cool, cool. Hey man, look, you know me. I ain't really interested unless the Nationals are winning, and when I mean winning, I mean in the postseason. So, you know what I'm saying? Look, man, get y'all shit together. Get y'all shit together. We got fans that want to watch the sport. Get your shit together. That's y'all
Uh,
money.
yeah,
Everybody, every party involved,
yeah,
that's y'all money. Get your shit together.
yeah. I think for me, I'm thinking about the people that work the concession stands at the stadiums. I'm thinking about the people that the turnstiles, the ticket, people that scan your ticket, and just every worker that works in these stadiums that's their
Mm-hmm.
only source of income. You know, I think about those people when it comes to things like this, and this isn't the first time that Major League Baseball has, gone through this. If I'm not mistaken, they went through this in the mid 90s. Actually, I thought they had a season canceled in 94 because of situations, like this, trying to agree on
Yep.
something like this. So yeah, I just think about those people, man, and I hope baseball gets their act together because people that only got these jobs, working at the team stores and things like that, they need that money.
Mm-hmm.
These networks, not that putting them in the same line as these stadium workers, but I'm sure the networks would like the game to figure itself out, and other people that have an interest in it. I
Well, more than that, those networkers got low level employees. So I mean, they are in the same they're in the same bracket as
hmm
those
Good point.
turnstile. Yeah,
Good
they got
point.
low level employees just
Show
like everybody else
producers, the
does.
cameramen.
Yeah,
Yep. Good point. Good point. Yeah.
yeah. So everybody that is in that industry is affected.
Yep.
So that's a valid point.
Yep. Yep. No doubt. When I say network, I'm talking about like Fox and TBS, and
Yeah, sure.
they got they good. They got money.
Mm.
In comparison to the people that work for them. But you make a good point there. There's people behind the scenes that don't get talked about enough. So, and then the other thing that happened yesterday, Derek Jeter steps down as the
Step down from the Marlins.
CEO
Yeah.
of the Marlins, and some people are kind of linking this to the negotiations. And for me, I'm gonna just come out and say it, bruh. Derek Jeter belongs with the Yankees organization, and if they can find a way to get his services for whatever, they need to go ahead and stop, playing around and get this guy under the Yankees payroll in some capacity. That's kind of where I stand with it.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Jeter. You're right. Derek Jeter is a Yankee. I don't know what capacity that could work. Like he stepped down. He was a high ranking employee, or
He
not
was
even an
a
employee.
CEO of the
Right. Yeah.
Marlins.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's a big
saying.
deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So right. So I mean, I don't see that he's gonna walk into the New York Yankees and be a CEO. But
No, they can
yeah.
make up a
But
position.
I agree that he should have a position. He should have some type of a hand in the organization. It's just, is it a job or a position that he would want coming from being a CEO?
hmm Yeah, yeah. So shout out to Derek Jeter,
Why do you
man.
think? Why do you think he's not a CEO or he stepped down?
Because
Why do you think?
I think because I don't think the Marlins um take winning seriously. I
Hmm.
understand that they draft pretty well. I know they have a history of great players, Giancarlo Stanton, Miguel Cabrera. They had a couple championship teams in the past. They had some good players, and then they sell them off to other teams. Like that's sort of been the narrative of the Marlins for like almost 30 years. That's what they do
Yeah.
after they win. after they won the two titles that they got in their history. So I just think that the market in Miami is not a very good market for baseball. I mean,
Interesting.
I'm just gonna call it like I see it. I mean, you look at Tampa, and they're trying to figure out their stadium situation, which people label it as a dump of a stadium. They don't fill that ballpark. The Marlins, they don't fill that ballpark. I mean, people in Florida, they don't care about baseball. To me, Florida is a football state. I,
Yeah.
that's just, in my opinion, I think that's why. I know he's come out and said that he and the organization don't see eye to eye in terms of the future of the Marlins. But to me, if you're not spending the money, which has been a talking point amongst these negotiations, if you're not spending the money, then why the hell am I here? I'm here
Right.
because I want to win. I need to spend money, and y'all don't want to spend money. So, and that's a problem with some of the other teams in the league also, is that they just in it to make money, and they don't go over the cap. There's always $100 million of cap space with some of these teams, in particular the smaller cities teams. They don't spend a lot because they feel like they can't compete, which is most of the time true, because the likes of the Dodgers, Red Sox, Yankees, even the Cubs, you could throw them in there. They outduel everybody when it comes to paying high top talent. It's just a fact.
Hmm.
But I think what, kind of going back to the negotiations for a minute, I think what the league wants, in addition to the PA, they want teams to spend more money. They don't want teams just having 60 million just sitting right there. Like, be competitive, and just to put a button on it. I heard that they're looking to expand the playoffs as part of the new collective bargaining agreement. And I think we've had this conversation before in terms of playoff expansion. We talked about it with the NFL. It's like, okay, we don't care. Like, if you want to add an extra two, three teams to it, go right ahead. I don't care. I'm gonna watch either way. I'm gonna watch. Like, just do what y'all got to do. If y'all
Baseball fans,
go ahead.
baseball fans, forgive me. I don't give a. Add a game. I guess it's always good for the fan who wants to watch extra baseball. Cool.
Competitiveness
Like, you know
too.
what I'm saying?
I think they
Yeah,
want
yeah.
teams to be. They don't want teams out of it come mid to late August. I think that's the idea of trying
Sure,
to add
sure.
extra
Same,
spots in
same,
there.
same thing with the NFL. So
Yep.
yeah, I get it.
Yep.
I get it. I just don't care that much about baseball unless we're talking about the Nationals getting that extra slot. Um, forgive me, for baseball fans who watch this show.
Hmm.
I know it's a few of you. Maestro don't care.
Yeah. I mean, and quite frankly, when the NBA did it, when they did this little playing thing, like, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, do it.
but I don't
Like,
like that though. Yeah, but
yeah,
I don't like that.
yeah, I'm with
I
you.
get it.
I'm with you
Yeah.
there. I don't like it in basketball. I think they should just go back, 1 through 8, with that regard. NFL is okay. It is what it is there. And for me, as more of a baseball fan as you are, um, go ahead and add it. I don't care. If you want to put 14 teams in, add it. Well, I mean, if this is what's holding y'all up from coming to an agreement, then y'all got to get y'all shit together, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Um, so you had anything else? I ain't want to cut you.
No, I don't know if you had this on your docket, but I saw on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
that the NFL is talking about changing the overtime rules where both teams are guaranteed a possession. And um I want to know your thoughts on it. I know mine's on it.
So is this in response to the Bills Chiefs playoff game.
I'm not sure if it's in response to that. I know that there tends to be a serious conversation
Mm-hmm.
about, and I guess this is going to be presented when the competition committee meets.
Yeah.
That both teams should have a possession regardless of touchdown or field goal.
Okay. So I was a fan of having both teams in overtime possess the ball, whether the first team scores a touchdown or whether they score a field goal or whether they go three and out. I think both teams should possess the ball, regardless of that. And if that's how they're working that, then I'm fine with it. Otherwise, if you're changing it to something else that's just crazy, that's something that fans are gonna complain more about, then I don't want to hear it. But but having each team possess the ball, I'm okay with that. I know you don't like it.
Sudden death.
I know you don't
I
like
don't
it.
like it. Like, stop. This shit is so pussy. It's so pussy, dog. Like sudden death, man. Like, what are we talking about? What the fuck? What are we talking about?
So
You just kind of take.
you like going back to whoever wins the coin toss. If it's field goal, touchdown, they win the game right there.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Defense has got to play defense, bro. I'm sorry. Defense has got to play defenses. They got to play offense. They got to play defense. And if you can't stop Patrick Mahomes for one possession, then sorry,
Mm-hmm.
you don't deserve to win.
Yeah.
You can't stop Aaron Rodgers for one possession. That's for the game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't deserve to win. You should have got Patrick Mahomes. I get just in theory.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, like, nah, man. Y'all gotta play defense, man. I'm sick of that shit. Y'all gotta play defense, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta play defense.
Yeah. Well, I guess my rebuttal to that would be when you say they got to play defense. If they go along with my idea, the defense on the field, they're gonna have a chance to stop them if they get that first. Like, for me, two teams, they both get one possession. The first possession, the first team, if they go three and out or if they get a turnover, then the opposing team kicks a field goal, end the game. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. That's
not
where I'm at
towards
with
you.
it.
That's stupid. Not towards you. That's stupid. That's stupid. Like, what if the defense? What if the first team gets their possession, and the defense picks six? The offense should still get the ball.
Oh, no. If the defense scores, game over. Under
So now
these new rules, if I think this is where they're going with it, under those rules, if the defense gets a pick six, that game should be over.
this is sudden death, man. Defenses need to step up. Period.
Yeah.
Period. And you know why? And you know what I think is going to happen?
What's that?
Or what I would think was going to happen if they went back to sudden death?
Mm-hmm.
I think the game that has been more catered towards offense, you kind of have to balance the sliders a little bit more, because this game's obviously the rules are obviously
They're
meant
gearing it towards
are
offense.
favorable for right.
Yep.
Now a defense or the competition committee, a defensive coach that's in the competition committee could say, well, look, if I touch him, you're going to throw a flag, and that puts us at a disadvantage in overtime. These sliders got to be moved again. This is an opportunity for us to put some sliders back towards helping the defense, making this a little more balanced for the defense as well. Because I get why somebody would want two possessions in an offense in a game that's catered towards offense.
Right.
But the truth is that the defense is on the field too, and we got to stop. We got to cut this disrespected defense out. We got to cut this shit out, man.
I just thought about this. What about moving the touchback to, instead of starting at the 25, start at the 15?
I mean, it's still, but the offense is. I mean, the game is still, like, for instance, how many times we complain about a bullshit, holding in the secondary call. You know what I'm saying? How many times we complain about those types of things, and then it puts that offense right into the field goal range. because Aaron Rodgers had the balls enough to throw that ball, even though it was a ball that shouldn't be thrown, thinking, well, I could either get a pass interference holding, or my man is going to make the catch.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I feel
You
you
know
on
what I'm
that.
saying?
I feel you on that.
Nah, like we need to allow defensive players to defend, and all of they're not allowed to do that the way I'm used to seeing it. Let me say that, and I'm not okay with it.
No, sure, sure. I think the flip side to it also is that it, kind of like in the Bills Chiefs playoff game, the complaint is we didn't see Josh Allen touch the ball, or like in
Fuck Josh Allen.
or in like other examples, we didn't see Aaron Rodgers, and it seems like Aaron Rodgers is always in these didn't touch the ball in overtime situations, but you're gonna get all these complaints and stuff, and it's like, yo, y'all got a defense for a reason. Y'all got a defense
Exactly,
for a reason, and I get that
exactly. You got your $100 million quarterback. Get your defense together.
the rules and the plays and all that stuff is geared toward the offenses, but at some point, defense got to get played. It's funny how when the Rams and the Saints a few years ago had their overtime game right after the blown, the non-PI call. It's funny how Drew Brees had the ball and they turned it over in overtime, and the Rams ended up winning. They played defense. The Rams play some defense. How about that? Like, but nobody
Well,
nobody
Rams.
nobody brings it up. When games like that happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't. Yeah, sudden death. Make the stakes. Make it real stakes. Like if make it real stakes. I have to stop you. I gotta stop you from scoring points. Field goal to. I gotta stop you from scoring points.
yep, yep. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna read up a little bit more about it because if it's toward my idea, then I'm good with it. But they got to play defense at some point.
Sudden death.
In this situation, they'll play defense. Um, can we talk about Grambling State University and this poor or this silly decision for them to hire Art Briles, who's a former head coach at Baylor from 2016, I think it was, when all the sexual assault situations were happening around that campus and around that program. And I guess for me, and just to kind of update
And
the
please hit
story.
me because I'm not aware of this story. Yeah, I'm about to say I'm
Yeah.
not aware of this
So
story.
so the
I
so
got questions.
let's backtrack. So last week, Hugh Jackson, we know, is the coach of Grambling State.
Yep.
Art Briles was hired to be the offensive coordinator for Grambling State last week.
Right.
Twitter flamed him. A lot of backlash about the hiring, kind of similar to the Urban Meyer hire. Right before the season started, I don't know if you remember, Urban Meyer hired somebody from college that had some incident, and then he eventually said, "Okay, we gotta get him off the team." So, basically, this is sort of the same thing.
All right,
Art,
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there because that's a strong comparison.
yep.
Remind me of what happened at Baylor and what you deem to be Art Brow's involvement.
So what happened at Baylor was a string of sexual harassment going on that involved some females. It involved some players. I don't recall if it involved some staff, but I'm just trying to, because I read a couple of things today, but it's just kind of all over the place. But it involved, in a nutshell, it involved sexual assault amongst the campus, amongst the program, and believed to be under the watch of Art Briles, who could have done something to bring this to light or done something to mitigate it, but chose not to. So that's what went down at
Okay,
Baylor.
okay. So let me, and that happened in 2016.
Yes.
Do we have any? Let me.
Can I just
And I don't have
finish?
all the information.
Yeah, I want to
Sure.
just
Okay. I'm
finish.
sorry. Go
I,
ahead.
I want to just
Okay.
finish what happened this week. So he gets the Grambling OC job. There's backlash from media. There's backlash from Twitter from fans and stuff. And Hugh Jackson is kind of taking a beating, from people about the hire. He even got the Hugh Jackson Foundation involved with this, sort of, citing that, there needs to be some forgiveness being played here. So yesterday, Art Briles, and I don't know if this was by Grambling State. I don't know if they pushed him to do it, but the decision was made that he was not going to be the OC anymore. He came out, he being Art Briles, came out and said, "Look, I think I'm going to be too much of a distraction. That's why I've decided to just, step down and just step away from the situation." So there. So now to your question.
Okay. Oh. Let me say that I am going to try to be as sensitive to the 2016 incidents without having a full memory of what actually happened, how our Browse was involved. Did he do anything to be sexually inappropriate to women? Did he see anything to be sexually inappropriate to women, or was it just something that happened under his watch? Um, I say that to say
Mm-hmm.
that if it happened, it's one thing for it to happen under is his watch. It's another thing for it to happen and he be charged of doing something sexually inappropriate
Mm-hmm.
with staff or women or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I me,
Mm-hmm.
I think our Brow should have took the job. I think he should have took the job. I am totally if he wasn't if he let's see if say this. Let's say this because again I don't have all the information on how that ended in
Mm-hmm.
Baylor.
And just to throw another point here, Mocha's got a comment in the Facebook Live chat. Doug Williams was very vocal, who's also an alumni of Grambling State.
A Grambling, yeah.
He was very vocal about the hire and said, Hugh Jackson, this is not the way to go. So when you have a figure like that speaking on that decision, you know what's up.
With all due respect to Doug Williams, and this is solely on misinformation. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why are you strong about that? Is this just something? Is just something? And Doug Williams has the cachet, the clout to say that, and Hugh Jackson at least take credence to it, take heed to what he's saying.
Yep.
But for me,
Mm-hmm.
uh, depending on how this ended, like was he fired because of it? Was he disciplined because of it? Was he even proven guilt? Was he proven guilty of it?
Well, I
Um,
think the narrative was that he stepped down, but sometimes when they say that, those are kind of like code words for you
words
know
for I was guilty. I get it.
yeah,
I
we
get
let
it.
you, you know, we
I get it.
or that the university fired him and they just wanted to
As a
soften it up.
scapegoat.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So to my point, if they fired him as a scapegoat,
Mm-hmm.
then in my mind, all right, we need more information. Let me say this. I need more information. I will also say that if Browse decided I'm going to be a distraction,
Mm-hmm.
um, cool. But to me, that sounds like you had more to do with it, and then maybe you shouldn't have been hired. But
Mm-hmm.
my thing but then here's this. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place because I don't have all the information. It happened in 2016. How long does like let's say he was guilty, like he whatever he did, he was guilty.
Yep.
How long does he never work in the NFL? I mean, does he never work in college football again? Does he never coach college football again? Is 2016 to 2022 not long enough a time for him to have paid his dues and you know continue his life as an NFL or as a coach?
You would think though. Unfortunately,
I'm just
we
asking the questions because I don't have all the information.
yeah, and my answer to that is that you would think that 6 years ago, that incident, whatever incidents took place with respect to the victims and everybody, that happened, and he had an opportunity to, change some of that and to, get after it, get ahead of it, and
If he did
decided not
anything.
to. Well, I don't think he physically, sexually assaulted anybody. That's not what this is about with Art
Well,
Briles.
even if he was a central role in the things that was going on, like meaning if he knew what was going on and was complicit in what was going on,
Hmm.
even if that was the case, that's something he did that was wrong and that was a misstep.
Right.
Cool. You should
Silence
be held
is,
accountable for
yeah, because
is
silence
is complicit.
is being
Right.
complicit. Right.
If you know and you don't say nothing, you're complicit in the act.
Yep.
So that is something he did that was a misstep.
Yep.
But let's say for sake of conversation that he was guilty of that.
Hmm.
Is 6 years not long enough time to say, look, man, I did this in 2016. I was wrong. I've done these corrective actions to get myself right, and now I'm ready to do what I do, and what I do is coach football. Is
Yeah.
that not enough? Is that not? My question is that not enough?
Yeah. And my answer again is you would think that that's enough, but
I'll say
unfortunately,
this.
we live in
I'll
a
say this.
society
Urban
that
Urban Meyer been a nasty motherfucker for a long time and has had a job for
hmm.
a long fucking time, and nobody seems to be
Yep.
upset about the fact that Urban
I
Meyer
get.
has had a job, has had jobs
Yep.
while in the midst of being a trifling motherfucker, and all of a sudden, Art Browse, that's the problem. Again, this is not me absolving him of what he did in 2016. This
Hmm.
is me saying, how are we so sure that he hasn't made in 6 years hasn't made the steps to becoming a better man?
Right.
As far as those sexual harassment situations go in his regime, and how do we know he hasn't corrected those things? How do we know the conversation that him and Hugh Jackson had, or him, Hugh Jackson, and whoever
Yeah.
whoever those heads are, they
Hmm.
feel like, okay, all right,
Right, like if they did their due diligence before
right,
officially make
right,
announcing the hire, and
right,
and I think you
right.
make a good point there. With that, I think a few things, and I just want to, and I don't want to sound off the way Stephen A. sounded off earlier about this, but I'll just say this: Grambling State, it is a HBCU,
Yep.
so that carries some weight when it comes to when we're talking about hiring minorities, black people, and things like that. So that's a big deal right there. Number two, Hugh Jackson was recently in the media defending Brian Flores and talking about some of the things he went through when he was coaching the Cleveland Browns, and how the Browns owner was trying to pay him to lose games and things like that. So that was just what, 3 weeks ago. He was just
Yeah.
on these airwaves, on television, on radio 3 weeks ago, talking about all this, and then weeks later we get to this, and you're hiring a guy that um, has been tied to the situations at Baylor.
That's
Um,
my man's.
Reaction, and I hear you, bro. I hear you 100%. At some point, 6 years. At some point, you think, okay, he's moved on from that. He's learned his lessons. What I would have liked to have seen, um, I would have liked for it to not be behind closed doors, like that they did their due diligence and all that, and that they've talked through some things. Like I would have liked for them to face the media, Hugh Jackson, Art Briles, the AD, whoever, just come out front and just talk and just say, hey, you know, this is what we've decided to do. Art Briles has taken several courses on, sexual harassment, and he's done this. He's donated dollars and time to these causes and things like that. Like, if they would have dressed it up that way, instead of just saying, "Hey, we've Art Briles," like that just coming out the news cycle. Like, if they'd have did that instead of that, then maybe this reaction is a little different than what it is now. But because there's Twitter vultures and there's media vultures, and we don't forget a lot of things when it comes to sexual harassment and things like that. We just live in this time where that much smoke that comes from these things. Grambling State, I don't think they were built to handle stuff like that. I gotta be honest with
Man.
you. I don't think they're built for it.
Twitter outrage last 2 days, man. They could have rolled this out.
No, I know, but it's not just Twitter. It's the media. People gonna talk
No, I mean
about
social media. No. I'm sorry. I just said Twitter because you said Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Social media. This outrage shit lasts 2 days.
Sure.
This shit really does last 2 days. All of this shit lasts 2 days, 3 days tops.
Sure.
Only the top. Let me be very clear. Hugh Jackson is not a big name in the college football game. Art Briles is not a huge name in this college football game. Grambling is not a huge school in this college football game. Mm-hmm. I get that they are historical and legendary. Mm-hmm. HBCU, all those things.
And they're propping up HBCUs more because of what Deion Sanders has been doing with Jackson State. They're propping HBCUs up a little bit more now. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, but again, that rebuttal doesn't change my statement in any capacity, in my opinion.
Wasn't trying.
No. I'm just saying that point doesn't add any stakes to that. With Deion being who Deion is who Deion is by himself. It's not like when we talk about Jackson State. In most stories, we don't talk about Jackson State and then talk about what Hugh Jackson is doing in Grambling or what Eddie George is doing at Alcorn. We don't talk about those other black legendary players and coaches that are coming to revive HBCUs. We don't talk about that.
Right.
I mean, hell, I watch a lot of I Am Athlete and all them. They have to consistently force the conversations of HBCUs every episode because of this resurgence that they're trying to start, but it hasn't quite started yet.
It's not there.
And the reason why
it's not there, I agree with
and
that.
the reason it's Deion Sanders solely. So let me in Jackson State solely, and with what he's doing, and that they're winning games, and that they're bringing Brittany Renner into the locker room, and all these things that they're doing. Because prime is prime. Yep. So with that being said, I don't understand. Look, if Urban Meyer can work, big name. If with due respect, if Andy Reid's son can still
right now though.
He has been. I mean, yes, but do we think for a second he's not gonna have a job soon? If it's not college, if it's not coaching, he's not gonna be on some Fox FS1 or some. We don't. I'm just asking. If you think that, then I should be.
I'm sure he'll be in television. I was just reacting to him, working, and we see how that ended with Jacksonville.
And also, let's be clear. He had been an asshole that whole time and was still working. This ain't the first situation. It didn't work. And let's be clear. If the Jacksonville Jaguars were winning last year, he'd still be a coach.
I agree with that.
Amidst all the bullshit. So it's not like he don't got a job because of the bad things he did. He don't got a job because he ain't winning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
With that being said, Andy Reid's son, amidst the shit that he's done, can still have a job and nobody say a damn thing about it.
Is he still with the Chiefs?
I believe so.
Really?
You can correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong.
I would love to be wrong. I thought the dude was locked up and fired somewhere.
Okay, I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm just telling you that to my information,
Hmm.
he never. I never heard anything about him getting fired. And let's be clear, if he is fired, why isn't that? Why wasn't that news after the things he had done? I'm
Well,
just saying.
it's
I'm just
hypocrisy.
saying. I'm just saying that Art Briles was a great coach in Baylor in the when RG3 was popping. Um, he kind of fell back off respectfully, not no disrespect. He kind of fell off the grid once RG3 was drafted. Then these accusations came up, and this incident came up. He
Hmm.
disappeared again, and
Hmm.
now he disappeared. Let's be
Yeah.
clear.
Some of which was
We ain't
true,
hear
by the
about Art
way.
Briles.
Some of
What?
those accusations were found to be true, by the way.
When you say
With
accusation, but what was found to be true?
that women were being sexually harassed on
No, 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 no,
campus.
no. But I'm sorry. Yeah, I get that, but I mean
Yeah.
specifically towards Art Browse as a
No,
okay.
not him being a suspect. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Not
Okay,
him
but
being a
let's say
suspect.
this.
Hmm.
But okay, but going back to my let's say he was let's say okay, so what we can say emphatically is that it was under his watch
Hmm.
when foul shit was going on.
Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
When he was fired, he disappeared. We never heard his name again
Right.
until now.
Hmm.
So he had his time to sit down, reflect,
Yep.
grow, learn, hopefully self correct or correct, and said, you know what? I did my due diligence. Let me get back out here again.
Hmm.
What's wrong with that?
All those things could be true, right? Like he could have, like I said earlier, he could have been doing courses, workshops on sexual harassment. He could have been donating money to these organizations. He could have been donating time to these organizations. I just think that the smoke came and Grambling State don't know how to deal with it, and therefore
And that's
they
bullshit.
they they they, they had to part ways. They they
That's
they
bullshit.
they,
And I
they
don't
were.
mean it's bullshit that you're coming to that conclusion. I mean it's bullshit that if that's the conclusion, if that's the correct conclusion,
Hmm.
that's bullshit. You are a fucking school. Like what I mean what they gonna stop watching games?
Well, you got to ask the people that have an issue with it. Apparently, a lot of folks have an issue with it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to that. I don't think Art Browse should be left out of coaching forever for some shit he did for some shit he was under the under he had a bad tenure.
Hmm.
I mean considering I ain't gonna say he had a bad tenure. He had a bad year or 2 years, however long it was going on. He was fired like he should have been.
Right.
He paid his penance, and now he back on the market. So when you get fired for, like, again, it comes back to that. When you get fired for something like that, are you allowed to never work again?
Uh, you'd like to think you can get another opportunity.
And we know that's not the truth because there's way worse some motherfuckers than
Yeah.
Art Browse that got
Yep.
jobs in the NFL.
Yep. Yep.
So for me, for me, and
Mm-hmm.
forgive me because I am not all the way informed. I'm just drawing information and talking shit as I'm hearing it. How dare y'all try to tear down another black man after he paid his penance and trying to get back into society? How dare you?
Our browse is white.
Oh shit! Oh, you just fucked me up right now. Oh, fuck him then.
I was like,
Hey,
wait a
hey, hey,
minute.
Trey. Hey, Trey. Hey,
Yo,
Trey.
yo,
Hey, fuck him then.
yo. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, yo, I wonder if this nigga think
I was
he
going
black.
hard for this nigga. I thought that nigga was black.
Art,
Hey, fuck him then.
nah,
Hey,
nah, art,
hey, fuck him then.
nah.
Hey.
Art,
No, but in all seriousness, though,
yeah.
I do mean fuck him though, respectfully. But in all seriousness,
Mm,
a motherfucker should
mm-hmm.
be able to get fired, pay his penance, have an opportunity to correct himself, and get back into what he want to do. That should be a real thing.
Yeah.
That goes all across the board.
As we're talking about this, thoughts of Paterno at Penn State came up from a few years ago. and that was, and obviously because it's Penn State, it got a lot more attention than this, or than what Baylor got.
Nigga, I thought Art Briles was. I always thought Art Briles was black. I'm sorry. I always thought that nigga was black.
Yeah, Art Briles is white.
Yeah, but fuck him though.
Oh, this is wild.
I don't even know why I thought he was black. I don't, because I don't watch college football like that. But I always thought that nigga was black.
Nah. He's
wow.
He's white, bro. He's white.
Yeah. Well,
but
again,
that's the.
I can't see that shit. I don't know why you tried to show me that shit.
Well, you can see.
I can't see that.
You can see he ain't black.
Honestly, I can't. But yeah. Yeah, but in all seriousness, though, I mean, he should be able to, have an opportunity to disappear, get his shit together, and work again. But fuck him. Fuck him.
Yeah, well, look, I just think Grambling, they made a mistake. Look, they made a mistake.
Did they make a mistake? I'm still gonna go bad that. Did they make a mistake?
Because they should have known that this was possible. They should have known that this was possible. I mean, you go back to when Urban Meyer hired that dude, because now that the story's coming to me, it was the guy that was saying some racist stuff that came out true from a college team he was on, and Urban Meyer decided to bring him on. And everybody was like, "Yo, Urban, what the hell you doing?" Like, and then, they had to backtrack and they had to, let him go again. And so, Grambling had to know that this was a possibility. They had to know it was a possibility that this was going to happen.
I disagree with the fact that they made a mistake, and and let's be clear, I don't agree with Urban. I didn't agree with Urban Meyer hiring that dude at all.
And that was a more recent situation also. Like that they didn't even give that time to really breathe, to give him, the time to get away from that.
That does change the narrative. That does change the narrative a little bit. Yep. But he does have a right to look. He got a right to work. If a motherfucker gonna still hire him, then he got a right to work. That's another reason why representation in this league is important, because when a motherfucker fuck up, a nigga should be able to be like, "Hey, bruh, we got you. You fucked up. Yeah. We gonna get you right. Come on, fuck with us. Why you know what I'm saying? Why you get right?" That should happen. It happens in the white community. It should happen in the black community as well. But now that this motherfucker is white, look, man, the way fuck him. Fuck him.
I was like, yo, this nigga think he black.
But fuck him.
All this time.
He should. All this time. I mean, literally not just today. I'm talking about
when he was
back
coaching
when
Baylor.
RG3 was. Yeah.
Nah.
All that time I thought that nigga was black.
Nah.
I don't know. Art sound like a black name to me, bruh.
Art Shell.
Maybe that's what it is.
Shout out to Art Shell, black, former player and head coach in the NFL. So yeah, I feel you on that.
I know a nigga named Art.
Yeah. Shout out to Tiffany Evans here in the Facebook live chat.
With it.
I think she goes by Tiffany Sports and Heels. Also, appreciate you. Can we talk about some other nonsense too, man? I read today the WNBA has fined the New York Liberty basketball team $500,000 for the team using charter flights during the COVID season, the shortened COVID season. I think what's more disturbing about this, Maestro, is that there were other penalties that they could have given the team according to the CBA. So, I don't remember the first two, but the third one, which is the most egregious one, is that they could have told the team to shut down operations and not be a part of the league because of this particular violation, which I think is I think it's some bullshit. To be quite honest with you, I understand a rule is a rule, but don't tell me that a women's basketball team getting on a chartered flight has any competitive advantage against any other opponent. I don't believe that for 1 second.
I don't know. I don't know how that could be an advantage for for that team.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say um what I'll say is look, man, like what y'all ain't got. Look, man, women's basketball ain't making enough money as it is, man. That's the shit y'all want to rag on them about.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't got nothing better to talk about for under a league that is grossly underpaid. And I get that everybody who's going to talk about, well, they don't make that much money. Look, that ain't. They're underpaid regardless of what's in the market. They're underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's my opinion. I don't care about all that shit. And I get that may even sound illogical coming from it without me having all the information. They got enough shit going on with that. They got enough shit going on with them for y'all to be giving them shit about how they get in the games. I'm sorry, that like what are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like this, bro. I mean that what you just said ties into um the team being fined. $500,000. And I'll go back. I'll go back some ways, right? Because I used to go to these games when the WNBA first started, and without me thinking about anything that had to do with business and all that, I was only 17. I would just focus on going to the game, watching the girls play, and all that, right? But in retrospect, for me, when you look back at it, some of these WNBA franchises are owned by these NBA teams in these same cities,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
the Liberty, Dolan used to own the Liberty because they used to play at the
Right.
Garden. So if Dolan wanted to, Dolan could dish out more money to whoever works on the Liberty staff, whether it's players,
Yeah.
coaches, whoever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The
Yep.
Mystics
Yep.
are owned by
By
what's his name?
Leonsis.
Leonsis, right. So if he wanted
Mm-hmm.
to, he can spread money throughout that organization. The money that he's
Yep.
making with the Wizards, he can spread that money throughout the Mystics, right? There's
Yep.
some other teams that can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the Seattle Storm, they can't do that. There's no Sonics in Seattle right now. There's other teams that just have ownership that just sticks to that particular franchise, so they don't generate or make as much money as some of those other franchises, or they don't have the resources that these other franchises have. So
But ain't that kind of synonymous? But ain't that kind of synonymous with big market teams in the league and small town markets in the NBA? I mean, I get that it's a different scale, but
yeah,
that's kind of the same sandwich. Like, I obviously the Knicks or the Lakers can do a little bit more
yeah.
than
Then
I
the
don't know, Portland
Kings or
or
Oklahoma
yeah,
City, yeah,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
mm-hmm.
obviously, that's just going to be the case
Yep,
because of the economy in those specific cities. So, I
yep.
mean, look, again, them trying to penalize the Liberty for having a little more resources
For
than the others,
traveling, for traveling.
yeah.
Like, come on, what are we
What you want
talking
me to
about?
do? What you want me? Yeah. What do you want me to say?
What are we
What do
talking
you want me
about?
to say?
You want us to get on Greyhound
I got
buses?
the resource.
What?
I got my resources for them to fly a little more comfortable, and y'all mad at me because I got the resources and Seattle don't.
It's, I don't get
That
it.
sounds ridiculous to me. That sounds ridiculous to me. But this is sports. This is
It's
big business.
crazy.
I've heard more ridiculous from my small business window. So
And another fact to add to that, so the Liberty now are owned by the group that owns the Brooklyn Nets, because the Liberty play at Barclays Center now. So, but still,
well,
the Nets have money. They can,
more
they
resources.
have more resources.
What you
They
want
can
me to?
get
Yeah.
charged.
What
They
you
can
want me to
get
say?
planes. I don't get it. I it all goes back to what's the girl name? She just signed with the Sparks. Liz
Oh,
Cambridge.
Cambridge.
Cambridge, yeah. She spoke on TV about women not getting enough, not getting paid enough to play in the league, and how the collective bargaining agreement needs to be restructured. Well, this news here explains why. She made a great point. I think the league
Yeah,
needs to
yeah.
wake up and figure that one out.
I wonder how. Yeah, I mean, and I'll say this. Theoretically, you would think that players who speak out, women players who speak out, they would have a better idea of what the economy is in that league that they work for or play in.
Yeah.
Um, but maybe they don't, and maybe they don't, and they just throwing shit at the wall, hoping something stick because they want more money. I don't know what this situation is, but I do know that for what basketball players, women or men alike, and I get it's different for men than it is for women because of
Mm-hmm.
the level of popularity that it is in the NBA as opposed to the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
But the WNBA players go through a lot of shit. They go through a lot of shit and should be compensated. In my opinion, should be compensated. But it's just what it is.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna step off of that. That just is what it is. They go through a lot of shit, traveling back and forth, and I guess some people would say that I shouldn't bring these types of situations into it, but man, it's hard. I ain't never been a woman, but I talked to a lot of them. It's hard to fucking be a woman, man, and pregnancies and all like it's shit
Man,
that
they're the
they gotta
greatest.
go through.
They're the greatest thing on earth, man.
Yeah, like it's shit they gotta go through, and then how dare they go through all that shit and still put on a product that people watch,
Mm-hmm.
and you not compensate them just a little. I mean, throw them a little more. Like I know it's people. It's a high percentage of people in the world that make more money
Yep.
than WNBA players. I think that that's false if we value entertainment the way that we say we value entertainment, meaning music is $1 billion industry, the NFL is $1 billion industry, the
Yeah.
NBA is $1 billion industry, movies obviously are $1 billion industries,
Yep.
and women's basketball don't even seem to be a half a mil.
And even in some of those industries too, women aren't paid enough too. I'm thinking about
Right,
Monique and
right.
what Monique has been talking about these last few weeks in regards to her and Tyler Perry
Weeks,
and stuff.
years,
So, huh?
weeks. She been talking
No,
about that
I,
shit
I
for
know
like 10
I know
years.
it didn't start weeks ago.
Uh,
I'm reacting to what she recently said about Tyler Perry, but yeah, you're right. That was years ago that started. But to my point is that in these other industries, women are underpaid, just like with
And
professional
I'm not,
basketball.
I don't want to move this from being a sports podcast. And even that, and yes, she should be for what she's contributed to the entertainment game. She should be paid more.
Yep.
But even that coming resurfacing is a matter of Tyler Perry coming out with a new movie. I heard he got a new movie out or some shit.
I think he
No, I
does.
know he does. Yeah, it's no, because everybody asked me,
Okay.
"Do I watch?" And I'm like, "Shawty, I'm sorry, I don't watch
I
Medea
was gonna
movies."
say
But
you're not a
I ain't
Tyler
seen
Perry
it.
fan, so
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm not a fan of the movies. I'm a fan of him because what he's done
right.
is fucking
He's
astronomical. But
he's
just
resurrected some
those,
careers.
yeah, but just those movies, I'm not into those movies.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of
Uh,
Tyler Perry though. That's legendary.
okay. I was about to say because that dude resurrected mad niggas' careers, bro. Shout out to
Nigga, that nigga resurrected his career, but I digress.
sure, but he's definitely for others. Shout out to Demarcus, the greatest, in the Facebook
What's
live
happening?
chat. So I know you tweeted about this the other day when I posted about the Washington Commanders possibly finding a spot in the state of Virginia, particularly Northern Virginia. So it came out last week that there are I think they said three proposed sites for this new stadium that they're trying to work out. So Woodbridge, Virginia was one, Sterling, Virginia was the other. I think Loudoun County was the other location. All which are, by the way, like 20 something miles outside of the Beltway. I'm not even talking like from DC. I'm talking outside
Right.
of the actual
Right.
Beltway, right? Um, I know how you feel about it. I guess for me, I, I honestly don't care. Really, I honestly don't care all that much.
Bruh, tell me how you would feel if they moved the New York Knicks, still called them the New York Knicks, but moved them to the rich part of Jersey.
Um, my reaction to that would be, because I don't live in New York and because I don't live in a city, my reaction would be, okay, I could probably get to the new place easier than I would to get to MSG. That's just my initial reaction to it. But
Okay,
if
all
if
right, because I don't live in New York, so maybe. But I was trying to draw a parallel, and maybe that's not a good parallel, bruh. Unless this is no longer a DC team, this is not okay. Period. I get why they're doing it. All those things that they're considering, and these are all great business decisions. But when it comes to culture, this shit is not okay. See, the thing is, and I get back, and I the because you immediately brought up the Landover thing,
yep.
the with the Commanders playing in Landover. See, the thing is that's not okay, but we can deal with that because the trip from DC to Landover is nothing. Like literally nothing.
Sure.
So it's like no, but talk to the community, the people in DC, and ask them how they feel about uh a DC team not being in DC. They don't like it. It's not okay. It's just not okay. It culturally is not okay. Look, we got to deal with it. That's what they did. That's what they Dan Snyder did what he did, and that's what happened.
Actually, that was
But
Jack
it's
King
not
Cook.
okay.
Actually,
Yeah, true. But it wasn't okay. It
yeah.
wasn't okay. People weren't okay with it. They're still not okay with it. It just is what it is. Ain't nothing we can do about it. And like I said, we can get there. This here, that means that we can't get on the train and catch a bus and get to the games now.
That I'm with you on, because when you look at it geographically, I'm a big geek when it comes to that. But yeah, you can't take Metro
Black
out
Map
there.
Quest.
You can't take Metro out there. That's the thing. Like, we talk about this a lot when I go to sporting events. I prefer me, Trey Frazier. I prefer to take the train to the game, right? Like if we go to a Wizards game, I prefer to take the Green Line to Gallery Place. If I go to MSG, I prefer to take the A train to MSG, or Raven Stadium. I prefer to take the light rail to Raven Stadium. Um, you're not going to be able to do that if they put any of these three sites for the stadium in Virginia. You're not going to be able to
And
do it.
let's say in theory, because I know Metro is trying to expand. They raising prices and closing early to save money
Yep.
so they could try to expand. Um, let's say, all right, they built one that can go all the way out there.
Yep. It's a long
The
ass ride.
community of it's a long ass ride. The community of what they're doing. Let me just paint it what it is.
Yep.
What they're doing is they're putting in a situation where poor folk can't get to the games. If you can't spend to get to our games, then you can't come. And I'm sorry, that's not okay for my city. To me, that's not okay. It's just not.
This speaks of what the Atlanta Braves did when they left Turner Field in the middle of Atlanta, by the way, like black Atlanta, out to the suburbs where you can't even take the train to get out to the new Brave Stadium. This kind of speaks of that. Like that's the closest thing to it. I understand having a DC team, whether it be in the state of Maryland or in the state of Virginia, is not like from a culture standpoint, it's not DC sports. And
It's
there's
not even DMV sports. Let me be clear on that.
yeah, and to the example too. Giant fans and Jets fans, they got to drive across Manhattan just to get to a Giants or a Jets game. Like, they don't like the fact that they got to go to Jersey for that. And, that's been like that for almost, 40 years. They've been doing that. I talk to
I
people.
can't. I hear you.
I talk to
I
people.
can't. That don't hit. I hear you, but that don't hit home for me. And I
I'm
get that
making the
that's a
comparison.
valid.
I'm making the
Right.
I'm
Right.
making a comparison,
Right.
and I'm only
Right.
speaking on it
That's
because
relatable to you.
yeah. And I'm speaking
I
on it
got you.
because of that. And I've talked to people that even like are old enough to remember when the Jets used to play at the old Shea Stadium, which used to be the old Met Stadium before they moved. So people
Yeah.
don't like it. They don't like that they gotta drive from Long Island to New Jersey, and that could be like 2 hours on a game day, on a Sunday afternoon. That could be up to 2 hours drive, and I could
And
kind of
let me add something to that.
yep.
Let me add something to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure that this happened. This is the same thing that happens. That if they move this to VA, it's going to be the same thing that happens here. That maybe that's probably happening in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it a 2 hour drive for people that can actually get there,
Yep.
but now there's certain people that can't get there. They are never going to be able to enjoy their team live again.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the resources to do it.
Yep. Yep.
And these are the real fans. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And this is just me speaking because I've been
Mm-hmm.
here all my life.
Yep.
I've never been a Redskins fan or a football team fan or a Commanders fan. But I watch my people. They want to go to them games. I feel like they're the fans of the Commanders are in the DMV, not outside of it. I'm not saying that they aren't DMV fans. I mean, aren't Commanders fans outside of the DMV. I'm saying that the heart of it, the hardcore fans, are in the DMV. That's the way I feel.
And that doesn't
Correct me if I'm
include
wrong, and I might get
and that doesn't
Loudoun
include
County.
those
No,
parts of Virginia you're speaking about.
What were the parts of Loudoun County? I'm gonna say no.
Loudoun County,
Sterling.
Sterling, Woodbridge. Woodbridge. I know some black people in Woodbridge. I don't know.
No. I'm talking about it being the DMV, not because it's.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's
Like
far. It's far.
let me say this. Let me say this. I'ma say no.
Okay. Okay.
I'ma say no.
Because I'll tell you, I hear both sides of it, right? So for the folks in PG County, it's easy to get to the game because you just drive right to Landover. It's right there. The people in Virginia, which is mostly white people, they got to drive to the stadium, and you know what? They hardcore fans if they driving from deep down in Virginia all the way to Landover to do that.
And 9 times out of 10, if you live in Virginia and can get to those games, you got the resources to do it because it's expensive as fuck to live in Virginia.
Yes, yeah, facts, facts for certain. So, yeah, I just think this you said it earlier. It kind of reeks of they're trying to keep us, the black people, from attending these games the easiest way we possibly can attend them.
And it's no coincidence. I'm sorry, it's no coincidence to me now that all of the FedEx Field blunders have been going on all season with the sewage, plumbing, and all that shit that had been going on all year last year.
Yeah.
Almost, and I'm not saying that they're not filthy for allowing it to happen, but it almost seems rigged now.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for you. Because I've always entertained the idea that they should tear down the old RFK Stadium and just build something right there on that same land. I understand you probably got to talk to some residents. You got to talk to the community. You're probably going to have to put like a strip of stores or some kind of entertainment around that area.
Yeah.
Because that's what other cities
Like they
have been
did by the
doing.
wharf.
But right. And I understand.
They're doing it anyway.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I understand that point because they're doing it in other cities where they're building these new stadiums and stuff. Why do you think? Because to me, the mayor, officials, people in the DC office, they should be all over this thing, right? Like, it only makes sense. You got Nat Stadium on Capitol Street. You got the Audi Field for DC United right around the corner from there.
Yeah.
Gallery Place is popping when the Wizards and the Caps, fill that place up. Why do you think they not, like, pushing this to be the case, to bring the football
I don't
team
have a
into
great
the
answer.
district? Like,
I don't have a great. I don't have. I'm lying. I don't know if it's a great answer. I do have an answer.
is it Snyder? They don't want to.
I mean,
They don't want to gift it to Snyder, as long as he's owner.
nah, man. What I think is it's fine. It's good. It's a good idea business wise. Again, like all this gentrification that's going on in DC, I think DC is like number one in the turnover rate of gentrification going on in the United States. And like bruh, like my kids live over by Audi Field and all that. Like
Yeah,
if you seeing how the traffic changes is
yeah,
different now. Like
yeah,
how different it is.
yeah,
Like from me driving to pick them up last month to Saturday when I went and picked them up. Like it's crazy what they're doing down there.
yeah.
My so if so for how easy they're doing it and how quickly they're doing it there, for me logically it's like, all right, if you're doing it like right here, y'all should be able to do it right over there. Shouldn't be no problem. Why wouldn't you do it? I believe that they believe there's more money to be made in Loudoun County. There's more money to be made in Sterling. There's more money to be made in whatever the third
More
site
land,
was.
more area, more dead area
More
for
money
development.
to be made. Yeah, more money to be made. And that's not a bad business idea, but again, unless you're going to change them to the Virginia or the whatever, culturally is to me for me it's always going to be wrong culturally for y'all to just do what y'all doing. And again, like I said to you on Twitter, I wasn't okay with it when they went to Lando. And again, I'm not even a fan of the Commanders. I'm not a Commanders fan, but as me being here all my life, I would like to see them be where they're from. That's those types of things, and I can't speak for the rest of the world. Those types of things are important here in the DMV.
I feel you. I'm a New Yorker, and I don't root for the Jets or Giants. They're not my teams, but you would think that somewhere in New York City they could build a football stadium for these two teams. And, culturally, I don't think that's right. Especially when the hardcore part of those fan bases is in the city and in the state. I get New Jersey has, some Giants and Jets fans. I get it. But it just doesn't sound right. Like you said,
Yeah,
they might as well call
it
it the
bothers
Virginia
me.
Commanders.
It bothers. And how fitting would that be? The Virginia Commanders with that name change. How
I know,
fitting would
right?
that be?
All racist. All racist. The way they
Like
are.
you see how I mean, do you see how somebody who's invested in their community could see how this is a systematic brainwashing of of who they feel to be superior in this world is? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nastiness. Like, dog, this is our shit, dog. There's no way to slice it. This is our shit. So don't call it the Washington Commanders and be not even in Washington. Not in Washington.
Yeah.
Not even close to Washington. Like we would be okay if it was in the DMV. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like it, but it's in PG. We can get there. It's in, like we can get there. But come on, man, it
Yeah.
reeks of nastiness.
They,
I've driven to Loudoun County before, as you have.
yeah.
I don't want
It's
to go to.
far.
I would never, never. I would never do it. I
It's
would never go to a Commanders game.
it's far,
Not to see
man.
Pittsburgh, not for a free game, none of it. I got to stretch and pack a lunch to drive out there.
Yeah, yeah. It's far, bruh.
And I'm capping. If it was a free game, I'd go. I'd take the road trip.
Man,
If it was a free game, I'd take the road
that's
trip.
far. They got to build metro at some point. If this is the route they're gonna go,
Imagine how long the metro ride is.
yeah, it'll be faster than by car.
Sure, but imagine how long the metro ride would be.
They need to run that thing express or something. Like that thing need to skip stops. For real.
Yeah.
So
I disagree.
I got one more thing. MVP, league MVP in the NBA. I know
There's no argument.
I know you playing catch up.
I know what the MVP is.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a top three. You it sound
Okay.
like you got a clear cut guy. I got a top three.
I don't have a clear cut guy, but I know who my two are.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, I ain't gonna front, bruh. It was Embiid until last night.
Yeah.
John Morant is my number one MVP right now. And
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and,
Wow.
and Embiid is number 2 for me, and DeRozan is number 3. It's those three guys right now. That's
It is
in the
those
race.
three guys.
Yep, it's those
Now,
three for me.
I would not have put John Morant in my top. Like for me, it was Embiid, DeRozan, and I guess I would. But man, that game last night. This was what I came on the podcast prepared to say.
Yep.
Ja Morant is officially my favorite player in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. Like it's official. I think for me, he's as far as favorite.
Yep.
He surpassed Steph Curry to me right now because this nigga don't give a fuck. He's yamming on you.
Yeah.
If he got the opportunity to yam on you, he's yamming on you. And more than the likes of a Embiid who big as shit, more than the likes of a Giannis who big as shit. Like Ja Morant don't give a fuck about none of you niggas. If you was in his way, he yamming on you. Yeah. He more of a rhythm shooter, but he yamming on you. He don't care. He's yamming on you. And for me, I'm always going to respect the cat like that. Always. Always. I don't know how long he gonna be this good. I think he gotta. If I had to make a critique of his game right now, only thing I would really say is I just got to see it happen for longer. That's it.
I don't know. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. He's the best player in that franchise's history right now. Right now. He's the best player.
Zach Randolph.
In that franchise's history right now.
Zach Randolph. Nah, Zach Randolph. You ain't gonna play Zach Randolph. You ain't gonna play Zach Randolph.
I'm not trying to play him, but Zach Randolph can't do what this kid doing right now.
But Zach Randolph's been consistent. Zach Randolph's been consistent. He's been consistent for years, though.
No, I get it. I get the consistency. I'm just talking about in terms.
I gotta see it longer. What I'm saying is I gotta see it longer because here's what can happen. Because here's what can happen. God forbid. The way he jumping on niggas.
Yeah.
He can be D Rose real quick.
Sure.
He could be D Rose real quick.
It's funny you said that because I see those comparisons now. Like I'm seeing these comparisons now, so I get that part. I'm just saying, like skill set,
longevity. He gotta have a little.
Sure, I get the longevity point. For me, the skill set, the highlights, and the Grizzlies are more fun to watch. I mean, with respect to the Tony Allens, the Zach Randolphs, and the Mike Conleys, and the Marc Gasols of that team, with respect to that team, because I liked that team, a few years ago. But they wasn't as fun to watch in terms of the style of ball that they played compared to what they're playing now with John Morant and these kids. Yeah, for me, he's the dude, man. Right. In the history of the franchise, he's the dude right now.
So let me ask you, if God forbid, he get injured next year,
and he's not the same moving forward.
Everything. Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I can't give it to him right now.
Then I'll walk it back. Then I'll walk it back.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Then I'll
Yeah.
walk it
It's
back.
just too early for me to say that. It's just too early for me to say that. That's all I'm saying.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, I'm about to wrap this up. You got anything or you good?
I'm good.
No doubt, no doubt. We appreciate everybody in the Facebook live chat. Shout out to everyone listening as well. Make sure y'all catch us on the Facebook live again. Make sure y'all click the like button, and also you can follow us on the YouTube channel. Also on social media on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Also follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. And if you got questions or comments about the show, you can hit us up on the email at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And one more thing, just a programming note. We're going to be dropping our episode with Mo Cheese from Country Roads on Thursday. So make sure y'all check that out as well. Very great interview, insightful. Glad the homie's home. So make sure y'all check that out.
Yes, sir.
And
shout out to Mo Cheese.
No doubt, no doubt. So that's it for the show. We'll holler at y'all next week. Maestro, my brother. Peace.
Yes, sir.
No doubt.
Recording stopped.